And welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. We're with you every Tuesday and Thursday leading up to the NFL season. Paul Farrington joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. Thanks for taking some time, hanging out with us for a little bit. If we're a nice distraction, please leave it in the comment section. If we're a poor distraction, please leave it in the comment section. It's better to take it out on us than it is on your boss, I would say. You know, we can handle that. So today we have the NFC West featuring the 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams. Later, a little bit of Aaron Rodgers and Jets talk if there's time. And then Ziggy apparently has a very good top 10 list for us to break down following our horrendous music guessing a couple weeks ago.
I'm not even clickbaiting. I really think this is the best one we've done.
Yeah, we have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it.
Ziggy also went to the gym today if he's looking a little more swole. We know he's
can't tell
about to be jacked. He's not showing it.
I haven't
all.
recovered
So,
yet.
Yeah.
But the big return.
He did leg day. We can't say he's lying.
Yeah, you can't really say. You want to stand up and show your legs?
I'll never match what I was doing when I was running like 80 miles a week in high school.
Damn.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
80 miles per hour, more like.
I thought you were going to say that.
That's what I thought he was going to. So we're back after one episode off. We had one last week while I was down in Hilton Head. So nice down there.
You still drunk? A little hungover?
No, I actually haven't been that bad for a while. It's been a few months since I have completely let loose, and for good reason. But yeah, I went and saw Barbie and Oppenheimer actually, both on the same day.
What was better?
Pretty good.
Probably Barbie, right?
I enjoyed Barbie more.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Ziggy? You saw both.
Yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer was just not that great.
I mean, a lot
Medium.
of people. Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought Barbie was a lot funnier. Obviously a lot funnier than Oppenheimer.
I want to see Barbie.
But it was more of a movie for my speed. You walk out of that feeling a little better than nuclear war. All right, let's start off the NFC West. The favorite, as we always do, the San Francisco 49ers. The best news for them is that Brock Purdy is allegedly back and playing as if there's nothing really wrong. Kyle Shanahan said he has no arm troubles so far. He's been totally healthy. They're having him practice 2 out of every 3 in training camp so far. Now, look, we know that Purdy is competing with Trey Lance and Sam Darnold right now, and that's more of a formality in my eyes while he's recovering from this injury. But just a few stats here from Purdy's numbers last year in the 5 regular season games he played. Second best passer rating of any quarterback ever in his first 5 starts behind Kurt Warner. 49ers led the NFL in points per game at 33.6 once he came in. He was and he didn't lose. He was 5-0. He didn't lose any game he started start to finish, 7-0 before getting hurt in the NFC Championship game. So obviously there's still questions around him because he's still a 7th-round pick rookie last year. The sample size is not that large. Maybe it was just lightning in a bottle. What I'm wondering from you guys is, do you think, assuming he comes back healthy, are we going to be able to see Brock Purdy pick up where he left off last year? Do you expect that?
It's tough for me to say I expect it. I think that the risk of a sophomore slump is definitely there because we've seen it. So I'm going to say that I expect actually a little bit of a disappointment and tailing off. He's just great. He was great. He played in 5-6 games and he was awesome. But coming in now this year, he's going to be the starter. I think there's a little bit more of a target on his back with these professional defenses. All right, like this kid, this was cute. Let's get after him now. And we've seen it before. So I'm pumping the brakes a little bit. But on the other hand, I think the weapons he has are so dang good.
The whole team is loaded.
Yeah, and he showed that he's good enough where, I didn't think it was mainly him. I thought it was who he has around him. But I think he's good enough where who he has around him, he'll be fine.
You keeping him at second best in the NFC?
I'm the Niners?
Yeah,
behind Philly, yeah.
Okay.
I'm
not jumping the gun because he was a rookie. He played a few games. He played awesome. But now coming into this year, a lot's expected. I think the target is on his back. It's a big red X. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Ziggy, what do you think about that?
I'm not worried at all. I mean, look, here's what he showed. He showed that he can play in a Kyle Shanahan offense with the best weapons in the NFL around him. Well, guess what? This year he's running it back, just like you said, Jack. Same Kyle Shanahan offense, same weapons. Debo is coming off a really disappointing season. He should be better.
I think he's vowed to be better too.
Oh yeah, he's vowed. I mean, Brandon Ayuk gets better every year. Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. George Kittle is George Kittle. You worry a little bit about the injuries, but like there's so much talent there that even if a couple of those guys get injured, you've got tons behind them. I think the only player they're swapping out on offense is Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah, Mike McGlinchey, the right tackle, is gone.
And he was a good right tackle. I mean, there's a reason why he cashed in free agency, but he's not a devastating loss, all things considered.
If you were to go through that entire starting offense, he doesn't crack the top 5 most irreplaceable players on that list for San Francisco. It is crazy. I mean, the amount of obviously the defense. We'll get to them in a second. Arguably the best one in football, but the offense too. Like this 49ers team, you just need someone who can excel in quick decision making, short passes, and that's what Purdy came in and did. That's why he was so good last season. I think actually Sam Darnold could even come in and play well, just the way that he played. Was Ziggy starting to smile at that? I actually do think Sam Darnold, if they need to give Purdy time, is good enough to come in and execute Shanahan's offense.
Well, that's what I was trying to say before. It was wrong to say I'm expecting a decline from Purdy. I'm just saying I don't think that it's really. I think you can put a lot of quarterbacks into what they have right now, and they'd be solid enough.
Well, you see a lot of them succeed. The thing that stood out with Purdy though was that when he came in, they just felt unbeatable for almost every game they played.
Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do it last year, right? They've gone through so many guys who come in and step in there and try and get it done, and none of those quarterbacks have looked good.
I mean,
Jimmy G's the only one who's been. No, but Brock Purdy, when he came in, that offense looked completely different last year. They got significantly better.
No,
he can take care of business.
They did.
Jimmy G to go to a Super Bowl with them.
No, I'm talking about last year.
Only. Yeah, I mean the offense last year.
Jimmy G's been very good of them for the most part, but last year, once he stepped out, Purdy stepped in. Significant improvements.
Yeah, no, you're right.
33.6 points. Yeah, it was.
I think that he is talented and skilled and good enough where there's no reason to believe that there won't be the same success with those guys around him.
I believe that I saw. Story. Yeah, defense. Real quick before defense, I believe I saw Stephen A. Smith had Purdy as the second-ranked quarterback in the NFC. Is that? Did you guys see that by any chance?
No.
Like the NFC quarterbacks, obviously, Kirk Cousins.
Well, he's one.
42nd ranked player in the top 100. No big deal. Higher than Lamar. Higher than Aaron
Rodgers. I saw
Justin
some stats. They compared Kirk and Josh Allen side by side.
Yeah, that graphic was going around.
Was it skewed or something? I don't know. But
it was. It depends. They were talking about Josh Allen's first few seasons. There was something off with that graphic. But yeah, no. When you look at NFC quarterbacks, we did our quarterback rankings. There's Kirk. There's Dak. There's obviously Jalen Hurts is number 1 right now. But the way Purdy played last year, it wouldn't be surprising to see him crack that top 5 if he's able to come close to replicating what he did last season. And of course, Trey Lance is still in the fold. But what's going to happen with him? He's been written off. I think he's been written off too quickly. But we'll see what happens.
I mean, I'd probably put Purdy
season
4 right now. Behind,
yeah,
I'd probably go.
Goff is in there. People are high on Goff.
I'd probably go Hurts, Dak. Then I'd probably go Cousins and then Purdy.
Stafford.
I'd probably take Purdy over Stafford now. Healthy say. Yeah. No.
So defensively, right now, Nick Bosa is currently holding out. They pushed these conversations from last year forward to this season. He'll soon be the highest paid defensive player of all time. I don't anticipate any crazy holdout coming. Is there something you want to say about that, Ziggy? It looked like you were ready to.
No, I mean Nick Bosa will play.
Yeah,
they'll
play.
figure that out.
There.
He's not a running back. He's one of those guys that they will get him on a deal very soon.
Yeah, but frankly, when we're looking at the 49ers defense, you lose Jimmy Ward at safety. The biggest loss is probably D'Amico Ryans, your defensive coordinator, goes to the Texans. They bring in Steve Wilkes from Carolina, who was pretty good for the Panthers last year. There's not too many worries about this defense taking steps back. And then they bring in Javon Hargraves from the Eagles, which is just an awesome move to steal one of the better players on your big rival right now from their incredible defense. You bring him over. You got to look head to toe. For the 49ers defense is just stacked like their offense. It should be another dominant season. When we look at San Francisco as a whole here right now, you guys are we all feeling second best team in the NFC? Does anyone think they're better than Philly?
I'd probably go second best, just because I would give the slight nod to Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy. Like, who do I trust? I'd probably go Hurts over Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Does it surprise me at all if San Fran goes to the Super Bowl? No. But I'd probably go Philly, close, San Fran.
Ziggy, what about you? And if there's anything you want to chime in on the 49ers defense?
I do think the 49ers are the second best team, but I don't think they actually did a lot to address one of their big weaknesses on defense this offseason.
Please.
Right? Remember so I get that the 49ers-Eagles game was bad all around. But one thing that really stood out was they got run all over. Their run defense was absolutely terrible last year against the Eagles. What have they done this year to really change that? They brought in Javon Hargrave, who got a 44 run defense grade from PFF last year. The best of his last 3 years. Like, he'll help on pass rush a ton, but he's not going to help the run defense, right? You lose Jimmy Ward, you lose Azeez Al-Shahir, you lose Emmanuel Mosley. Like, I get that he's not a star cornerback, but he's a playable starter. Like, the defense lost a lot of pieces this offseason. They didn't step in and replace a lot of these guys because they couldn't. Here's what I'm saying. I think the defense is going to be fine next year, though. I still worry about the run defense. But when you're bringing in a new scheme,
why the run defense? They had the second best run defense in the NFL last year.
When it mattered, they couldn't get it done.
I'm willing. Look, I understand that you're pointing to that game as an issue, but Fred Warner was hurt. Nick Bosa got hurt. I mean, that game went as poorly as possible.
Yeah, Purdy went down.
I mean, everyone got hurt in that game for the 49ers. I think they'll be fine. I get what you're saying. Like, they did lose some pieces, but I'm not too concerned. I know they brought in Brown as a safety. No, look, he's not Jimmy Ward, but I'm okay. I'm fine with their run defense. I think as long as you got Warner there in the middle and who's the other guy? I'm sorry, linebacker. They have Drake Greenlaw. I mean, the two of them were amazing against the run.
Here's what I'll say then. If you're a 49ers fan, at the very least, don't worry if things look bad the first few weeks, right? They're going to be transitioned to playing a lot more man. They're going to be asked to do new things. If Wilkes can do as good a job as they're hoping he can, then I think it'll be okay. But it's something to keep an eye out for. Because ultimately in the NFC, if you want to win, you have to beat the Eagles. It's tough to see things going any other way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. All
right. So we're all pretty high in the 49ers. It just really, it will be, I can't wait to watch Brock Purdy play and see if he can replicate that.
That's the most exciting part to me about that.
When Garoppolo went down last year, I was sitting there with the Vikings, tied for second place in second place in the NFC, and I thought the 49ers were done.
Purdy's good though. You can tell he's got it.
It just sucked that Lance gets hurt, Jimmy G was better. Jimmy G gets hurt. Obviously, I don't root for injuries or anything, but Jimmy G gets hurt, and Brock Purdy's even better. It was like, all right, at some point, like, I keep seeing all these quarterbacks come into the 49ers. The Packers have Hall of Famers. Like, give me a break here. The Seattle Seahawks have to be considered the biggest challenger in the NFC West.
By default.
A lot of people in today's NFL, they'll tell you it's a passing league. That's a very common phrase that we'll hear when describing today's game. And it's very obviously one of the most important things is getting after the quarterback, which, as we'll say, Seattle doesn't do that well and will need to do better this season. But one thing that they did this offseason is they addressed wide receiver, they addressed cornerback in the draft. They get Jackson Smith and Jigba and Devin Witherspoon. I really like what they're doing on both sides of the ball there, and we'll talk about that more in just a second. But yep, you're right. That's the guy. It all comes down to Geno Smith in this season. He got the 3-year, $75 million contract. They're paying him. He's got weapons. It's all like the offensive line's getting a little better. It's just when you watch Geno Smith, are you confident against the 49ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys? What's your confidence level when he faces those defenses? Do you think he'll be able to get it done? I'm not there yet. I think Geno had a great year, and I actually think Seattle will be a playoff team again and could threaten for the NFC West. But when it comes down to those big games, I just don't trust him enough to. Are either of you guys high enough on Seattle where you think they can crack into that top 3 in the NFC?
Geno's my guy. I love him, as we know.
Oh, I know last year you were all over him.
I think that he's a good quarterback. I think Seattle's a decent team. I think that they should be able to beat most teams that, they should beat. And most teams who are in that kind of higher to middle tier with them. But it's similar when you talk about like Seahawks versus Niners. It's similar to me when you talk about Giants versus Eagles. I don't really see a whole lot of what's going to change. The Niners are a much better football team than Seattle. I think Seattle's defense is too strong for the Niners defense is too much for Geno Smith. They're just all around better. So Seattle will not, I don't think we'll even sniff them. And that's an automatic wild card. So that rules out a top 3 team in the NFC regardless right there. Because you have Philly, you have San Francisco, you have the division winner of the NFC North, who I think I'd probably take Minnesota, Detroit over Seattle too.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Well, I think Seattle slots in with that Vikings-Lions type of team.
Yeah, I agree. Can they get a wild card? Yeah. They'll go on the road, 6-7 seed again, and lose to it
and
too.
Probably get blown out by.
That's my ceiling for them. Geno Smith is good. I think Seattle's okay, but they're not up there with those top dogs, and I don't think they can be.
And I think they made the right move giving Geno the contract. He played well enough to warrant it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's just you're talking about really good teams that they have to go up against.
Right now, he's their best option. But can I see them going on the road to San Fran or Philly, which they'll have to do? No, I see them getting blown out.
How about you, Ziggy? What do you think? Geno can, and maybe not crack into the top 3 in the NFC, but become kind of like we said with the Jaguars. Can they get into that Big 4 maybe competitive world with those teams?
I don't think there's a single player in the NFL where there's certainly no quarterback in the NFL where there's a bigger gap between how the media talks about them and how they're seen inside the NFL. Right? In ESPN rankings, you're seeing Geno Smith as a borderline top 10 quarterback. Mike Sando's tier list came out today. He interviews 50 executives, scouts, coaches, everyone across the league, coordinators on both sides of the ball. Geno Smith ranked 20th. And the Seahawks clearly don't think he's much better than the 20th best quarterback overall, given the contract they offered him. Now, look, he's got a lot of weapons, and most importantly, Austin Blythe is gone. So there will be parades held in Seahawks in Seahawk country just over that. He was maybe the worst center in the league last year, right? You got a 5th round rookie who comes in, and Geno Smith is talking about how much better he was than the last guy. Yeah, it's tough to be. But look, I think what they did this offseason was they decided to run it back by giving Geno Smith some talent on defense, picking him up an elite wide receiver in the draft. I think it makes a lot of sense. And, is this team winning a Super Bowl next year? Probably not. But if you can go out and compete, maybe you get hot, maybe you get lucky. Maybe you see Geno Smith that looks like first half Geno rather than second half Geno. It could be a good year for them. I think it makes a lot of sense given how bad the NFC is for them to go in. Because if you just need to win 1 game or 2 games on the road, it's unlikely, but you never know what'll happen.
Any given Sunday.
I think it will be a decent year for Seattle. You're going up against San Francisco, obviously, which is tough. But they're going to score points. San Francisco, they're going to score points. Seattle, if Geno Smith is okay, they have the recipe to score points too.
They were top 10 offense last year, right?
Yeah, which is what you need to beat out San Francisco. The problem is with them, I just think... in terms of a well-rounded football team, they don't sniff San Fran.
Well, and when you watch them play San Francisco last year in the night game in Seattle and then the playoff game in San Fran, they hung around for a little bit, but it was very clear that the 49ers were a lot better than them. You're just waiting for the mistake, and eventually they happen. That's one thing Geno's got to get better at this offseason is limiting those turnover-worthy plays. Ziggy, you mentioned him struggling a little more in the second half of the season. He struggled. He definitely struggled a little bit more, but a lot of it was just he came back to the mean really with he was throwing. I think he had 13 turnover worthy plays the first 10 games of the season, and only 4 of them were intercepted. Second half of the year, or the final 7 games, he had 16 of those turnover worthy passes, and 7 of them were picked off. So it's just a little more realistic. He takes these risks, but when it came to deep ball passing. Geno Smith was the best deep ball passer in the NFL last year. He was an unbelievable leap for a breakout performance for a guy who so many people have written off. But we'll see. Ultimately, we'll see if he can take another step forward because that's what it'll take for them to beat those top teams.
Look what we saw. Sorry, you guys.
I was gonna say if you're a Seahawks fan looking for optimism in December, right when absolutely everything was clicking for the 49ers, they lost by 1 score. It is possible for this team to play well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw what Geno did last year, too, and I'll keep this quick. He won a high-scoring game against Detroit, a team that we're comparing Seattle to. He played a 1-score game in the playoffs in San Francisco. he murdered both the Jets, not murdered the Giants. He murdered the Jets, who, I mean, at the time, late in the season, that was a big game. Took care of them handily. Beat the Giants, who everyone started to...
Those are great when they beat the Jets and Giants.
Yeah, awesome. Giants are being talked about like they're the best team in the world. Seattle beats them. Like, Geno looked good to end the year. He really did.
They got hot. They got hot. Detroit got hot. And now we'll see how they do this season. Real quick on their defense, they're trying to build another Legion of Boom back there with Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. Great rookie season, a little overshadowed by Sauce Gardner having arguably the best rookie season ever for a defensive player. Obviously that, took a little bit of the spotlight away from him. If Jamal Adams is able to return to form with Quandre Diggs, they bring in Julian Love. I mean, it's a really talented secondary. Obviously, Bobby Wagner coming back. He was the highest graded PFF linebacker last season. It's a good corp they have there. It all comes down really to me to that D-line where there's just no one who can really get after the quarterback. So if someone breaks out, this defense will be a lot better than people are projecting. I
mean, they did add Draymond Jones from Denver, who got 7 sacks last year.
Yeah, they
definitely made an addition.
But they'll need someone to really break out and become that, star pass rusher for them, someone who could get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, the run defense isn't that great either when it comes to the D-line. So we'll see. It's there's definitely some pieces that need to improve along that. But overall, this team, when you look at the Vikings, Seahawks have better defense than them.
One defensive rookie I think is being slept on a lot, Derek Hall out of Auburn for the Seahawks. He was an incredibly good pass rusher in the SEC last year. In the SEC, you have to go against good tackles.
Yeah.
So he could definitely make, he doesn't need to have a double-digit sack season, but if he can just give them 5 or 6,
it can make a big difference.
Guys.
Yeah, have a couple guys step up.
I had a 25-minute conversation last year with Derek Hall's mother.
Are you serious?
Before the Auburn game. Yep. It was called the Tiger Walk. It was like the Auburn Walk of Champions, where they all get off the buses, walk into the stadium before the game starts. It was Auburn versus Penn State, and I was
Auburn versus the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and I was right next to Derek Hall's mom, and I was talking to her for a while, and then we see Derek Hall get off his bus. He's walking right towards us. I give him a high five. He hugs his mom, and she's like, "Go get him, son. How you feeling? You doing all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm born ready." And that was it. And then they proceeded to get murdered.
And then Penn State won by 50 points.
But no, I was talking to his mom for a long time.
So what do you think? Is he ready to take the step up in the NFL?
I mean, he was good. I mean, he had some vicious hits, but the rest of the team was terrible.
All right, so Seattle, again, so far, I think we're all pretty much in line with what to expect for 49ers, Seahawks. Now we flip the page in the NFC West, so to say, as we head to the Rams and the Cardinals. We'll start with the Rams. They sold the farm, and it paid off. You can't say that they didn't do exactly what they wanted to do. They have a Super Bowl. As a Viking fan, I would love to win one Super Bowl, and that's it. Then I could float away. It's like Luke and, at the end of the the 7th, 8th Star Wars, just floats away. That would be me if the Vikings win. But now, for those Rams fans who are still pulling for LA, it's some tough sledding right now. You have aging stars. I mean, a really young, inexperienced team. It's and really no money either. So you look at the Rams situation, you could say, we can easily sit here and say, look, it's the worst defense in football outside of Aaron Donald. There's really not much at all.
So bad.
I mean, it is bad. And then offensively, you have Stafford and Cooper Kupp, but the O-line's not very good. I mean, the other weapons on the team, question marks there. Instead of just roasting the Rams for the next 8 minutes, we can take a look at some of the positives here. And one place you could actually start heading into next season is they have all of their they have all of their high round draft picks. They haven't had a first round selection since 2016 with Jared Goff. Crazy to think. I think about the Rams, and we all know that they've been trading these picks. They get Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford, but it's been by next year 8 years since they had a first round pick joining their team from the draft, which obviously this isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it's good for them.
It means if you're bad, you have something to look forward to. Last year, you were bad and just saw that pick for Detroit ratcheting up.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was tough for them. So another thing, they have 14 rookies this year. They had 14 guys drafted despite not having the first round pick. So, I mean, there's a lot of young talent on this team, that needs to develop this season is just going to be watching those guys grow. I mean, that trio of Stafford, Kupp, and Donald is arguably as good of star power trio as you could find in the NFL. Personally, I can't see a scenario where that's enough to even go on a playoff run. It's just there's just not enough in those three guys. But I'm looking at them and I'm saying, okay, let's see some guys develop. Stetson Bennett, maybe he can get some reps at some point in the season. He's playing well in training camp. Like, there's got to be some, like, what are your guys' reasons for optimism for the Rams?
I mean, there's some obviously repercussions to going all out and trying to win a Super Bowl. Which, I mean, they won the Super Bowl.
I mean, then they went all out.
Yeah, and they did. And they haven't had a first-round pick for 7 years. 8 years. The reason for optimism for me is, I mean, there's not much, but I'd probably say the fact that you have hopefully a healthy, pretty good quarterback, which is the most important position on the field, throwing one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, probably top 5 receiver.
These guys just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. But I'd probably also say, I mean, I guess the future, the next couple of years, I mean, I wouldn't say this upcoming year, but if these picks can pan out.
God, you're struggling to find.
Yeah, I guess maybe 2-3 seasons. I don't, there's not much.
Ziggy, when you look at this Rams roster right now, do you see, what's wrong, Zach?
No, I'm just remembering Ziggy. Ziggy was a Rams fan before you took him away.
Ziggy was a Rams fan
before you took him away.
He was. Well, I mean, he's from Cali. Should have stopped.
Hold on. Let's be fair to Ziggy. He jumped over to the. All right. First off, there's a few reasons. No one is jumping ship to the Vikings. Like, you can't call anyone a front runner for jumping to the Vikings. Yeah, you leave the Vikings.
You jump ship from them.
Second, he did it before the Super Bowl, so he wasn't. It's not like they won the Super Bowl. He saw the writing on the wall. I was like, oh, I got to get the hell out of here. He did not enjoy the Super Bowl victory and instead joined,
the Minnesota Vikings.
Like, one of the most probably miserable franchises in the history of sports.
The 2021 Vikings, last season, 2022 was great. One of my most memorable seasons as a Vikings fan. 2021, I quit. I was done. I mean, I've never been so depressed as a Viking fan when watching them lose these close games. So Ziggy, to his credit, in the middle of that torturous season, joined the most cursed franchise in the history of sports.
So you got to call him a real fan.
No, he's a real fan.
You can't say he's a fake
Ziggy's
phony.
as real as it gets because he left a Super Bowl winning team, but right before they won the Super Bowl, to join the Vikings.
What was I thinking, Paul?
So when you look back on your former team and where they stand right now, I'll ask you two things. One, do you think there's a world in which they could compete for a wild card spot? Because Jack and I have spent the past 6 minutes saying absolutely not. And two, if you agree with us, where are you gonna, like, what are you rooting for as a former Rams fan?
Last offseason, everyone had the NFC West figured out. Rams were at the top, 49ers second, Cardinals third, Seahawks distant fourth. Then you look at how it actually played out. 49ers were a lot better than everyone expected. The Seahawks got a wild card spot. The Rams and Cardinals were putrid. So look, what that goes to show is anything can happen. And the fact is, really, there's only one team that anyone should be very confident is good in the NFC West. And frankly, they're only one quarterback injury away from a guy who got injured last season from having to rely on Sam Darnold or Trey Lance.
Yeah.
The Rams, even if you include Purdy, the Rams might have the best quarterback. They've got the best wide receiver.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah, I think they
went
do
healthy. Yeah,
yeah, like Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Last offseason, they would have been everyone's number one quarterback wide receiver connection. No question about it.
Yep.
Here's it is possible with a Sean McVay offense that they can do enough to keep this team afloat for the defensive rookies to figure it out. Rookies not necessarily meaning guys in their first year, but guys who have never played serious, real deal starter snaps. Now, the Rams lost almost every starter on defense. They lost their 6 snap leaders. They lost 9 of their top 12. But it's highly likely at least one of these guys is going to be good. I mean, I've been waiting for Bobby Brown to break out for years. I really like Russ Yeast. Like, there are some good players on this defense.
That is. I don't know who Russ
He was their 7th round safety pick in 2022.
Again, they have 14 guys. They have, outside of Aaron Donald on the D-line, they have 5 new drafted guys coming in. So, there are people that there's enough bodies where there's potential for guys to step up.
It's the future. This year, they're going to have, it'll be 4-13. But the optimism is the next couple of years, and you hope these guys can pan out. That's
I still
the
can't get
answer.
over the Ziggy thing.
What?
Him moving to the Vikings, he lost out on an opportunity.
Oh, he's an idiot. But
He might never see. He might he could have
Might.
died.
He will.
He could have died knowing his team won a Super Bowl, which not a lot of people can.
Do you know?
But he
what-
decided that
know
he
what
will
it was
die not
like?
winning a Super Bowl.
Do you know what it was like seeing my team win a Super Bowl?
Oh
No, I don't.
I was-
You know, we don't.
You could
know-
die a happy man.
You know, I was ecstatic for like a week and a half, and then I saw it happen again.
All right, shut up.
Get out
I
of
mean-
here.
I
Get
mean-
out of here.
I remember
I saw us go back to one after that, but then I was heartbreaking when we
Ziggy,
lost. But
one of our good friend Aiden is a huge Eagles fan, and the year that they beat the Vikings in the NFC Championship game, I was rooting feverishly against Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. It's anything could have happened as
Patriots
long
won?
yeah when they won. As long as Philly lost, I was okay. So of course they won, but after that, I see Aiden, and I wasn't with him the night they won. I just saw pictures of, probably the happiest looking man I've ever seen in my life. And I asked him, I was like, Aiden, what did it feel like when you won? And he just said, Paul, it's like everything was perfect. He was like, everything felt complete and pure. I think he said pure joy, like the rawest form of pure joy. And obviously that sounds really, really bad given the other tragedies in the world. But when
He meant it.
in the world of sports, when you commit to a team like a lot of people do, I cannot imagine that feeling.
do you want me to give you my honest feeling on how it was from the Super Bowl?
Oh, you're spoiled. You probably didn't care. You won five before.
When we beat, who was it? Seattle. I was like 8. It was fantastic. I didn't fall asleep till like 3 a.m. Woke up, went to school, and didn't care anymore. And it was the same deal to beat Arizona.
The
The day later, I'm like, oh, that's sick.
I think part of the not winning one, like the Dolphins haven't won in 50 years, Vikings have never won. That bonds fan bases.
But like, there's no difference. Like, I haven't seen us win.
no, I know,
before
but
that.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
There's like bonding for the fan bases where
Oh,
it's like
who won in the freaking 70s? It doesn't make a difference for me.
Let's put this out though, Jack. If the Steelers won this year, right, you would go on a 7-day bender.
now that you're old enough.
Now that you're old enough, you would go on a 7-day bender.
Honestly,
of
imagine
like-
what the Pirates won the World Series.
that's
Yeah.
different.
That's what I mean. We're like we don't win.
Yeah, we have
Steelers win.
we
It's
haven't
like the
seen a win.
Yankees
You've
winning.
seen a win.
But like, even so, it's like
Like, I'm taking a 7-day bender. I'm taking 7 days off of work, and
Dude,
I
the
am.
Vikings win the
I am-
Super Bowl. There will
I
be
am-
you say that, and then it's
Jack. I've never seen a Super Bowl win.
It's sick in the moment.
You never
You
seen-
wake up
Zach,
and it's like
Zach, you haven't seen like you like a divisional.
you haven't seen a playoff. You haven't seen a playoff.
Whoa, I've seen the playoffs. Easy there. We just haven't made it past the
You-
first round.
As somebody who's won a Super Bowl,
Yeah, but the difference is
You haven't won a Super Bowl.
I won 2.
You haven't won any.
Oh, he's-
You watched your team win the Super Bowl.
Wait,
But what?
no, Jack,
You
Jack
wake
has
up-
season tickets, so he's paying the players. So he is part of the team.
I'm part of the team. I get the Christmas card, Ziggy. Every
Yeah,
year.
he gets the call
I
too.
get
The
call,
rookie
draft pick
call.
calls. Yeah, Zach knows. I get the draft picks call in my home. I get season tickets.
How we have strayed from the Rams.
I get the Christmas card.
Well, when you're that bad, you need better content than the Rams.
You will wake up the next day. Like, that was awesome.
But that's like your 8-year-old self.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
imagine you were
yeah, I can't.
24
I
It'd be the
can't.
same thing.
or
No,
21.
I think I care less.
He doesn't understand.
think
Yeah.
I
No, he doesn't. I think you'd go on a 7-day bender.
Let's finish.
Rams fans all say that.
I don't think I would.
Yeah, let's finish the Rams.
Well, no, we don't have
Last-
to finish the Rams. What are we doing?
Yes,
what
we
are we
do.
doing? The Rams are hot trash.
That's
Move on.
what I'm not. The Rams
Give us
last
2
year,
minutes.
Rams are so
none of their
bad.
stars were particularly healthy. Even Aaron Donald struggled with health.
He didn't finish.
If
the
you
season.
have 3 stars, you can compete. The Rams can compete this year. Can they compete for a Super Bowl? Probably not. Can they?
I'm sorry. Did you just say the Rams can compete this year?
I
For a
think the
playoff
Rams
spot?
can absolutely compete for a playoff spot.
No.
All right.
Okay, maybe.
Here's what I'll say real quick about the defense.
The NFC stinks.
Yeah, I was about
No,
to say the
it's bad.
NFC
The
stinks.
NFC stinks.
I'm going to retract my statement. They could make a playoff. 'Cause
Yeah, but
everybody stinks.
outside of Aaron Donald, there's just there's the one linebacker, Ernest Jones, he's the only guy there with Wagner gone. The other linebackers on the Rams, none of them were drafted. Period. Like drafted.
Yeah, but if
And-
you go through all of the NFC, like even the Rams is now that I think about it, like all the the drafted, like I think
Darian
it's so weak.
Kendrick was the second. I think he's the 125th. Was he? This is the second worst cornerback in the NFL last season, according to the PFF numbers and all that. He's like the number 1 on the team. And sure, he might be able to step up. You never know which guys are going to develop in different ways. It's just there's so much youth on this defense. I can't see it happening. Now, look, with Stafford and Kupp, if they just dominate, yeah, maybe. I would just be stunned.
Well, look, you have...
Are we giving this team more time? Jesus.
You're going to have San Francisco.
We'll wrap with Jack here.
You're going to have Philly, San Francisco, probably the Lions.
Sure.
The Saints, most likely, NFC South winner. Then you got Dallas as a wild card. You have probably the Vikings as a wild card.
Maybe.
Is it totally...
The Seahawks, we said.
Like, I know, but is it totally out of the rafters to maybe think the Rams can get the 7 seed over a team like Seattle or the Giants?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could. I just still see.
I don't think they will, but maybe
they have the secret weapon, Sean McVay.
You know what? I'm happy you brought him up because I was going to say we have to mention McVay is a top 10 coach in the league. You never know with guys like that. They find ways to win, just not last year. All right, the Cardinals, our last team
here.
To
the 10. The list instead of this.
Yeah. No. We got to give them.
The Cardinals are interesting enough because they're so bad.
Oh no,
they add some interest because you don't know, maybe they get a good draft pick next year.
There's a lot of ways this Cardinal season can go, and it's crazy. They're the one team we always talk about just how much the NFL can change within a season or 2 seasons. 2 years ago, this team was 10-2, and on their way to the 1 seed, the year the Rams won the Super Bowl, the Cardinals were 7-0. That year, and everyone thought that they were the favorite to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC, or one of. And then it just kind of curtails from there after Kyler got a little banged up. He gets the big contract. Last year, they're 4-13. He tears his ACL in week 14, and now Cliff Kingsbury's fired. Steve Keim steps down because of health reasons, sort of a mutual parting. And you have Jonathan Gannon, who everyone was making fun of him when he first joined on, when they brought him in, because there was the video of him talking to Kyler and Buda Baker and looking real goofy. Apparently, in Arizona, they've said big culture shock there. Zaven Collins said you can't be 30 seconds late to a meeting right now with this guy. DJ Humphries said complete change, not a gradual transition, a different focus for this team. I like everything you're hearing out of Arizona is good right now. What I do want to ask you guys is that obviously we know this team is one that lacks talent a lot in the NFL at the moment. But when you look about what Cardinals fans could be excited for, again, we don't want to just sit here and rip them apart. I mean, we sort of did with the Rams last segment as we moved on, but
not me.
Yeah, not you, and you're right. Instead of ripping Arizona apart here, for Cardinals fans, what exactly do you want them to root for next season? Because I think you want Kyler to come back. And now here's where you could get really interesting into the hypotheticals. But when Kyler comes back, assuming he does, do you want him to light it up and look really good? Do you want the team to suck and hope that Caleb Williams or Drake Maye falls into your lap? Because if there's 1 year to completely suck, this would be the year. What's your rooting interest as a Cardinal fan?
You're not going to bank on a crappy Pac-12 quarterback to be the number 1 overall pick. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
We're not doing this again. We're not doing this.
That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's just ridiculous. The lone hope in the Arizona Cardinals is the fact that the worst coach in the NFL is gone. I mean, he was horrible. This guy was 6-9 with Patrick Mahomes. 5-10 with Patrick Mahomes. Whatever you play college, 12. He was 4-8 with Patrick Mahomes. So
gradually got worse.
Yeah, it's 4-8, I think.
Well, I know you didn't like Kingsbury, and obviously Kingsbury and Kyler had their differences throughout the whole time together.
This team, the talent is really not there. But I'm curious to see if they can be somewhat okay without Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. Because I think he was really bad.
Ziggy, how about you?
The thing I think about this team, honestly, what they should be most excited about is they've got 2 swings to the number 1 overall pick next year.
Yeah.
Because you look at the teams that have the lowest projected NFL win totals, it's the Cardinals, the Buccaneers, and the Texans. They've got 2 of those 3 first-round picks. Now, it still only gives them a 20-25% chance, even looking at it optimistically, but there's a lot for them to play for or not play for. It's look, Kyler Murray has certainly undergone a huge reputation shift over the last couple of years, but the fact is he's not a bad quarterback. Right.
Oh,
There are
I
a lot
agree.
of things he does well. I mean, it seems, nobody really knows, but it doesn't seem like he's a great leader. But it's not like Cliff Kingsbury was stepping in and helping. Right. And especially once like Larry Fitzgerald and AJ Green were gone, that wasn't getting better either.
Mhm.
Kyler's going to be hopefully healthy at some point next year. I mean, he could start the season, but hopefully he'll be healthy at least halfway through. He'll get a chance to step in. They've got, it's not the best weapons in the NFC, but it's not terrible.
No, they. I think Rondale
Like Marquise
Moore,
Brown, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch. Like they've got players, Zach Ertz, Trey McBride.
James Conner still solid at running. Like there are guys there. I mean, it's not like this team just completely sucks offensively.
I mean, you guys named like 2 good players.
Yeah, but there's reasons to be excited for Brown and Rondale Moore. And then I think you're right about Kyler. A lot of people have talked about his poor attitude or not studying for game. Not studying was a big thing when it was in the contract before they took it out. But there are a lot of NFL teams that would want Kyler Murray. There are a lot of fan bases where if you said, "Hey, you can swap your quarterback for a healthy Kyler Murray, will you take it?" And they'll say yes.
Well, yeah, it's obviously not the reason that they're being looked so shallow is not Kyler Murray's talent. It's the fact he's hurt for 9 weeks.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's the main reason.
They're going to be 0-9.
I mean, the defense is also really bad. But I look at them right now, and I'm thinking, okay, going into next year, we have 2 first-round picks. I think the trade worked really well that they did with the Texans. So in hindsight, the Texans could regret that depending on the way they finish this year. I don't top 5 pick next year will be very valuable. So you got 2 first-round picks. You have a second-round pick, 2/3, fine for the draft. And then if Kyler comes back, I think you're just hoping that he balls out. You paid the guy $230.5 million. And look, if the Texans pick turns into a 1 or 2, you can go and either get the rookie and trade Kyler away, or you trade that pick for a boatload and continue to build around Kyler, who's only 26 years old.
You're hoping Kyler balls out for sure.
So there's reason to be excited still as a Cardinal fan. And Ziggy, you brought up a good point. Whether they are really, really bad all year, or Kyler comes back and you start to see a little bit of the old Kyler, the guy who got that $230 million extension, that's where you can find the different rooting interests as you go forward as a Cardinal fan.
But it's tough to see a bad outcome. Like if you're a Cardinals fan, for the season to be a waste, right? Because it seems highly likely you've either got a high pick or Kyler Murray lights it up and carries this team to some wins.
Yeah, because you can't imagine that they'll be that good without unless I mean the worst case scenario is it's Colt McCoy's there right now, right?
Yeah, I think it's Colt McCoy, yeah.
If Colt McCoy balls out, they're in trouble. But Colt McCoy's not balling out.
Well, if
Colt McCoy does ball out,
yeah,
then you just get the Texans first round.
Well,
pick.
and then you have Kyler coming in. Kyler coming into a team that maybe has a chance. Like
you want Kyler Murray to come back and light the league up. And
you always want your player to play well.
Yeah,
because
especially your $230 million quarterback.
You don't want to have to rely on taking a kid from college and having him be a bust.
Yeah, but people would want.
Kyler Murray was fantastic at Oklahoma.
If they have the first pick, even if Kyler plays very well, I think they'll take Caleb Williams.
That'd be stupid if they did. Really stupid.
Ziggy, what do you think? If they have the first pick and Kyler balls out when he comes back?
Kyler.
If you can get a decent return for Kyler Murray. Yeah, if you can get a decent return for
Which one? Who decent return for
Okay. I don't know why I'm getting confused between Caleb Williams and
him.
Kyler Murray here. If you can get a decent return for Kyler Murray, yeah, I'd probably move on, try and reset your quarterback window. This team's not going to be very good and his cap hits keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
But look, if he plays well, really well, it's the best situation for Caleb Williams. There's no such thing as a can't miss prospect. Give him a 60% chance, 70% chance of becoming an all-pro quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
Kyler Murray has shown he can be that. So I don't know. I don't think it's so clear cut. But again, if you're a Cardinals fan, it's insane to root for your star quarterback to not be excellent.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine there are very many that are.
If he comes back and he's fantastic, that's now the second time that we've seen Kyler Murray have a stretch where he's looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Why go and draft a quarterback number one?
You want Caleb Williams because he'll be a fantastic quarterback.
When you talk about teams in the NFL,
we don't know that.
No, what I mean is that's why you want him. If you see Kyler Murray being a fantastic quarterback,
you've
got it already.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
It's fun to think about with the Cardinals. you talk about teams who you don't want to be a fan for right now. And I don't think the Cardinals are as low as you might expect the general public to say. Like there are definitely reasons to be excited moving forward as a Cardinal fan. This season will suck. You're probably going to be really bad, but they have the pieces in place. I think that they're moving in the right direction as far as the rebuild goes because I mean it was a quick hitting rebuild.
Do you count this as a rebuild? I feel like they should just blow everything up again.
No. I think they're blowing it up. I think it's blown up.
Well, no, you got to get rid of Kyler to blow everything.
Yeah, I mean they might as well wait and see if he can play better, add some more value.
But look,
what you should want if to be a fan of a team, the best thing you can have is a good front office. That's more important than any player except Patrick Mahomes. The worst thing you can have is a bad front office. And the Cardinals front office they took a sober look at the team. They said, all right, we want Paris Johnson Jr. Well, let's get him while adding the Texans' first-round pick, the first-round pick of one of the worst teams in the league. Just because
great trade for them.
It was a great move, and they still got their guy. So, yeah, I think that for the first time in a while, you might see some competent front office management that's not just going to keep bringing in washed-up stars, right? That's been the Cardinals' MO for years. Why not give him a chance?
Yeah, and I'll do this in a minute real quick just to go through their defense because we've done that for all the other teams. On the D-line, the Cardinals lost J.J. Watt, Zach Allen, and Marcus Golden. All of them gone for various reasons. There's only one defensive lineman right now on that roster who played over 350 snaps last year, and he graded 125th out of 127 players at his position. So, that's...
What's his name?
It's Lecky Fotu. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do my look. We do our research, but there's only so much time we have. Like, if I pronounce his name wrong, I apologize.
We know most things, but not all.
At linebacker right now, you have Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons at this point, I don't even know if you could consider him a linebacker, but those guys had first round superstar potential on them. Haven't lived up to it. We'll see whether or not they can continue to potentially break out this year. Kaiser White comes over from the Eagles, at least to provide a little veteran leadership to that unit.
We'll see how the Zaven Collins edge rusher experiment works.
Could be good. Could be a bright spot.
Look, it can't be all that much worse than him at Mike.
And then in the secondary, obviously, Budda Baker was the big question mark. He is coming back. Outside of him, though, this team had the highest success rate against them in 2022. Not really many ways that they improved. So, like we said, the Cardinals offense, there's some fun things to watch for this year. Defensively, it's pretty bleak. That's one of the big reasons that they're projected to lose so many games.
There'll be the Cardinals games every Sunday will be that 4:25 Sunday ticket slot. The game that's never shown.
When San Francisco's just murdering them.
Because it'll be 38-0 in the third quarter. It's just you don't see it. Then it comes back. It's like, I forgot about this game. And it's 45.
Well, that'll be the fantasy game. That'll be the game when you need Brandon Ayuk to score 11 points.
37 points, and he has.
Ayuk. Well, yeah. I mean, if he's playing me.
I got a question. When would you shut down Kyler? So let's say, obviously, he's playing great, right? But we'll say 0-7.
He comes back.
He comes back. He plays great, right?
Okay.
Let's say you're 0-7 at the time.
Wait.
Well,
when are you saying
when do we think
reasonable time to come back?
Yeah, let's give him a reasonable time.
Week 9.
Maybe he comes back week 9 or 10.
Week 9, week 10.
So saying they're 0-8 by week 9.
So 0-8 by week 9, right?
I mean that's.
And then Kyler goes and plays well, but they're still. Let's say they win 3 games. Do you shut him down before the season ends and just try and trade him?
If he's playing well, you don't shut him down.
Yeah, I think I keep playing him.
You keep playing him?
Let him play.
Even though if you're 3 and you're not going to blow up the league.
If he has an injury and it's week 15, if he's injured week 14 or something like that, maybe you shut him down. But if he's healthy, I think you roll him out there and play.
If he's healthy, feeling good, I'd let him play.
You let him play, even with the risk of him getting hurt and maybe wanting to trade him.
No, he's the quarterback. I let him play.
I think I guess if you're trying to tank for that number 1 pick, then maybe I'd say you probably keep letting him play. Maybe shut him down last week.
I think it's honestly, I think if let's say the Cardinals are 0-8, right? I think it's a really promising thing for Cardinals fans if they were to go and finish the season 7-9, and he looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
I
mean with that, yes.
Like I would let him just keep playing if he's feeling it, if he's healthy, and if he's looking good.
Yeah, even with Kyler, they'll probably win a couple games here and there, but still, like we said, just read that defense right
if
there.
If he goes in and goes 7-1, I'm thrilled. So I'd let him keep going.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's unfathomable almost. All
What
right,
if
let's.
what if we went 1-7, but it was all the defense fault
With Kyler?
with Kyler?
So 1-7.
Then you have Caleb Williams coming in next
But you
year.
have the number one pick. Yeah, then you have the number one pick.
But Kyler played good. That's what I'm saying.
There's
And you
many
get Marvin
defensive
Harrison
problems.
Jr. Who knows what they do.
The Cardinals have so
This is
many
too
hypotheticals.
speculative.
It can get like this. I think more than any team in the league next year
It's
that
the most
you can come
intriguing
up
team in
with.
football.
Maybe, arguably. Let's do this as we normally do for the divisions. We'll wrap up with a non-quarterback player to watch. I'll go first. I'm going to make it 2 for this. I really want to see the Seahawks cornerbacks. Like I was saying, I think they can get really good, the whole secondary in Seattle. But Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon, we know that Seattle's D-line, as we said, has struggled, and that they were linked to Jalen Carter for a lot of last offseason. Would he fall to them? He did, and they still went with Witherspoon. I mean, those are two guys that Seattle fans will be comparing for a while. I want to see if that defense can step up, particularly those two guys on the outside. And if they can, I mean, geez, if you could shut down and receivers in the league, you're in good shape. So I want to see, will Woolen replicate it? Is Witherspoon going to live up to the hype of the 5th pick? Either of you guys, go ahead and jump in if you have.
You go ahead, Ziggy.
For me, I think it's got to be Deebo Samuel. I mean, when he's playing well, besides Christian McCaffrey, he's maybe the most explosive running player with the ball in his hand in the league. He breaks tackles like nobody's business. He's fast. He can catch the ball anywhere in the field. He's just coming off a terrible year, right? He had like barely over 600 yards receiving last year. He couldn't really find a role in that offense, especially once Christian McCaffrey came in. But I think this offseason is going to be different. He's talked a big game. He's shown that he can play at an elite level. He wants respect back. So I think Deebo Samuel and the 49ers this year is going to be one of the most interesting offensive players in football. Easy pick for me.
I'm actually pumped to see. This is going to be unbelievable and shocking to you. The Arizona Cardinals wide receivers, Rondale Moore and Hollywood Brown.
I'll let him pick 2.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Specifically, when Kyler Murray gets back. But I think Rondale Moore, I think the potential of Rondale Moore is through the roof.
You know Ziggy's the biggest Rondale Moore fan in the world.
I've seen him a million times.
I don't believe in Rondale Moore.
At Purdue.
Watch the Purdue highlight reel.
No, when he was playing Purdue, I'm like, this guy's unbelievable.
Oh, good thing that's college and this is the
Zach's
NFL.
like, watch the Cardinal highlight.
Well, Zach's also saying Josh Allen stunk his rookie year, so he stinks.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
very fair.
No, he still stinks to me.
Rondale Moore is explosive.
Have you had him on your fantasy
there.
team?
I've not.
Oh, because then you would realize he does absolutely nothing.
What was he played? He's played for
2-3 years
2
now?
years?
2 years.
2 years. I think the potential's there. I think he's talented. We'll see.
The Cardinals, man, I'm excited to see it. They're going to probably suck, but I'm excited to see where this ship goes. By next offseason, there'll be a lot of questions about what the hell they're going to do out in Arizona.
Now, when we rank these quarterbacks, we can't rank Kyler in there. He's not starting.
What, for the division?
Yeah.
I mean, we've kicked that segment out, but if you'd like to do it real quick, we could bring it back.
We could bring it back, but I don't think Kyler should be on that segment. He's going to miss half the season.
If you're ranking NFC West quarterbacks and we're assuming right now that everyone is healthy except for Kyler, I'd probably put Stafford at 1. Gosh, Purdy versus Geno. I'd probably
Purdy played better against big time competition.
Yeah, I would probably put Purdy at 2, Geno at 3, and then McCoy at 4.
I'd do the same ranking, yeah.
Yeah, and it's but who knows with Stafford? I mean, the guy's had a lot of injuries, concussions, spinal contusions, elbow.
I mean, Purdy could be 1.
He could be.
But he could also be 3.
He also tore his UCL 6 months ago. So there's the
Now, if we added Kyler, where would Kyler be?
healthy Kyler.
Healthy Kyler.
I would. I mean, this might sound. I would probably put him up at 2.
See, I think I'd still take a healthy Stafford over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think I'd have a healthy Stafford, but I'd probably put Kyler at 2. Even though he had a bad year.
Yeah, I'd probably put Kyler at 2 also.
I mean, the dude, when he's on, he's number 1.
But you know he's getting hurt because he's a midget like Bryce Young.
Okay, all right. There we go. Ziggy, what do you cool with those rankings?
I had to get that out.
Yeah.
The Bryce Young hand.
All right, let's wrap up the NFC West with the preseason division MVP. This is a different one because I don't think it'll actually be a quarterback. I mean, obviously it'll be Brock Purdy. The 49ers are awesome, but I'm going to go with Nick Bosa because the dude, 18.5 sacks last year, defensive player of the year, total monster. I was actually almost considering Fred Warner too. But that San Francisco defense, he's the leader. So I'm going to go Nick Bosa, actually.
I'm going to go Deebo Samuel, his teammate, other side of the ball.
Deebo Samuel.
I think he's one of the best weapons in all of football.
There's so much competition on that 49ers offense.
I think McCaffrey is more likely than
Deebo Samuel.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ziggy?
This might be tipping my hand a little bit. I think Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to be maybe the best player in the division. But importantly, I think he'll be the only thing keeping the Rams afloat next year.
So you're going with the most valuable player, like me with Saquon Barkley.
How stunned would you be if Stafford and Kupp stay healthy, if Cooper Kupp puts up 1,600 or more yards?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, not stunned at all.
It's Van Jefferson, Ben Skoranek, Kyron Williams, Cam Akers.
When you're talking about a wide receiver putting up those kinds of numbers, Justin Jefferson for NFC North MVP doesn't sound crazy. Why does Cooper Kupp for NFC West MVP sound crazy?
No, that's fair.
He's going the most valuable player.
I like DK. Big DK.
Target competition. DK is the third best wide receiver on that team.
He's not the third best wide receiver on that team.
He's got one route.
He really does have one route. Like I
but he's amazing at that.
I have DK in fantasy, I think 3 years now. He's he's underwhelming.
He's great. Let's do the division predictions now. I'd like to sit here and put Seattle at the top. I don't know what he's about to say about the Rams here. I have San Francisco 1. That team is just too good to not.
I have
put
the
them
same
there.
ranking as you.
Then Seattle at 2, and I think they'll be a playoff team. The Rams at 3. I don't think they're very good. I see them winning like 6 games or so. Ceiling maybe get up to 7 or so. And then the Cardinals, you have to put them. Unless as Zach said, unless Kyler comes back and lights up 7-1, I can't imagine that going well. So we have the same rankings.
Yeah,
Ziggy,
same ranking.
I have the same ranking. And unless Kyler comes back healthy in the first 3 weeks, actually, even if Kyler comes back healthy in the first 3 weeks, that's my preseason ranking. Just odds-wise, I think it's crazy to think anything else.
Well, and like you said, the NFC West is so easy to predict, as like last year.
Well, anyway, we're all predicting it.
All right. Do we want to do Aaron Rodgers right now, or do we want to save him? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on from Rodgers.
Let's do the top 10 list.
Yeah, we'll do the top 10 list.
Nobody cares about Rodgers. Nobody cares.
Actually, I'm surprised that Rodgers, as far as videos that we've put out, our Jets content really is never.
People are sick of hearing about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in every little comment.
That's because the Jets suck.
Well, now he's on the team. Nobody cares. He's on the team.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure he's a fine guy, but he just talks a lot. And the media, now that he's in New York, talks about him nonstop. You get tired of it. It's not like he's saying anything interesting.
Well,
I am mad that Sean Payton said mean things about my head coach and my favorite offensive coordinator in the league. Yeah, of course you're mad. Okay.
That was done by Sean Payton.
No, Sean Payton's just trying to get guys in Denver fired up.
I think he fired up the Jets.
I cannot wait till the Jets.
Oh no, he fired up the Jets.
Look, I don't want to piss off Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, week 5. I'm excited for that game now. All right.
We've seen a pissed off Rodgers. Did you see him last year?
Pissed off Aaron Rodgers back-to-back MVP.
Garbage.
All right.
No. He wasn't back-to-back MVP when he was pissed off.
Of course he was.
It was.
What was he pissed off about?
Jordan Love.
He was pissed off for
yeah. Jordan Love. Yeah, that really stuck it to him.
It pissed him off enough that he asked for a trade
quarterback in the first round. Of course he's angry.
Yeah, we'll leave. This is another one of those.
We're doing the thing.
We have to cut that out.
No, we don't have to cut that out.
It's fine.
Okay, here's the top 10.
All right, what's this list?
Let's hear it.
So ESPN put together a scientific ranking of the 10 hardest sports. Do you want to hear the categories that they measured the sports on and how hard they are?
Yes.
So they gave a numerical ranking, each sport 1 to 10, on the following categories: endurance, strength, power, speed.
I like it.
Agility.
Like it.
Flexibility. Nerve. Right, like your ability to withstand fear. So like
anything that is
Durability.
applicable to sports.
Hand-eye coordination, and analytical aptitude.
Okay, so
Soccer's got to be one.
the list is not right if baseball is not one.
Really, I think soccer would be one.
Baseball is not one, but it's in the top 10. It's number 9.
Because hitting a pitch is the hardest thing to do in the world.
You got.
But here's the thing, right? They give hitting a pitch like in hand-eye coordination. That's a 10, but that's only one category.
It still doesn't matter. Like all these baseball players besides a pitcher have to hit it. It's impossible to hit a pitch.
Well, it comes in at 9. So
That's 9. That's insane.
Soccer's got to be on there.
You think soccer for what, endurance?
Like you're running like
speed,
1,000 miles.
feet.
Yeah.
Soccer?
Soccer is number 10.
All right, baseball's
I think you
high,
have.
good.
I think you have to have hockey on there.
Yeah,
Hockey has to be.
Yeah,
on.
hockey probably gets you.
Goaltending. I mean,
Endurance.
everything with hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess skating. Yeah, hockey.
Ice hockey or field hockey?
Ice hockey.
Ice hockey is number 2.
Football has to be on it.
Yeah.
You getting destroyed every play.
Crush football.
Yeah, football.
Football is number 3.
Tennis has to be on there, right?
Golf.
No, that doesn't mean
I don't think golf.
golf.
I would actually put basketball first. I think.
You see, but golf is more of a skill
Basketball?
thing.
I
There's
mean,
no
think about
endurance.
the running.
There's no-
Like
Golf's hard.
No, but
Golf is
that's one category. That's skill, right? Or whatever.
I mean, golf's a hard sport. No,
Yeah, but it's not. There's no endurance.
golf.
no-
I'll take the heat. Golf.
Golf is number 52.
What the fuck were you thinking?
It's exactly what they
I
said.
think
Golf
golf's
is
strike
extremely
one.
high
I think
in
golf's
one
the second
category.
hardest sport behind baseball.
No, but Jack, you're not like golf requires very little endurance, very little strength, very little agility.
These are stupid categories.
I mean,
then.
basketball.
There's a
basketball
categories on the
Basketball has to
list.
be on there.
Basketball.
Basketball is number 4.
Basketball's easy.
Give it at the
If you're a
highest
star,
level.
if you're a star, they don't play defense.
I mean,
Just take the
tennis
ball.
has to be on there, right? Tennis. I
Um.
mean, that's hand-eye coordination. That's endurance.
Endurance.
I mean, their
Power.
serve is like
Power.
1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
too.
Tennis.
Yeah, tennis.
Tennis is number 7.
So what have we got right now?
We're missing one.
So you've got ice hockey at 2, football at 3,
Number 1.
tennis at 7, baseball, softball at 9, and soccer at 10.
And basketball 4.
Would like distance
basketball
running
4.
count?
So we need 1, 5, 6, and 8 here.
What about running?
There are categories of running on here. There's
Dis-
distance running, there's track and field, sprinting, there's track and field.
Yeah, that's
Different
like
kinds.
Endurance. That's like
Distance.
endurance. There's no strength involved.
Distance
Or
running is
Could rugby,
Ooh, rugby could be a good one.
maybe rugby or
Rugby.
I don't think rugby's that difficult.
No, rugby's difficult.
I mean,
Rugby's not on
that's
top 10.
endurance, that's power,
Yeah, that's endurance. That's power. That's skill.
there's kicking.
I'd go distance running over rugby.
No.
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 What are we
Absolutely.
going here, guys?
Have you guys?
Yeah,
Okay, oh, yeah.
it is hard.
All right,
Yeah.
Jack.
Have you run
It's
this?
not harder than
Jack,
rugby.
Jack, let's go through what he's listed. What does distance running have? Endurance.
Why don't you go out and run 10 miles?
Strength? Is there strength involved in that one?
More in rugby.
mean, They're
All right,
you gotta
all right.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
a rugby.
Yeah.
I'll take the rugby.
gotta be strong.
Rugby is number 13. So that's strike 2.
I'd go distance running.
Look, okay.
I can't see.
Yeah,
distance
no, I
running
can't
being
see
on there.
distance running either.
All right,
I'll give you guys this one. Distance running is number 42.
Yeah. What the fuck are you thinking, Jack?
It's running.
It's running. It's a category.
I mean,
There's
baseball
10
is
categories.
9.
There's 10 categories. Distance running has one category.
You go out and run more than 4 miles,
There's
Zach.
endurance.
Jack, you have to think about the way this list is constructed.
You can't run more than 500 feet.
Oh yeah, you're right. I can't run 500 feet.
Yeah, so
but
shut
that's
your mouth.
endurance.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
not strength. That's
and
not power.
It's
That is
hard.
endurance.
It's
that is one
hard.
fucking
All right, now hold on.
category.
Before we devolve here, you guys have one strike left.
Before
and
we
more
devolve?
sports.
You're an idiot.
I don't know how. I don't know
Ziggy,
how.
wait, real quick. Ziggy, name off the categories again. Please name off the
say them
category.
again.
But he also,
Okay.
he's in hardest sport.
I don't even know if I know 4 more sports. All right.
He's the same.
Endurance.
Same.
Strength.
Endurance, strength,
Power,
power,
speed, agility,
Agility,
flexibility,
yes.
nerve, durability,
Oh,
hand-eye
you-
coordination,
you need that
analytical
I've
aptitude.
heard like 4 categories, or this is running in there.
Wait. What's after flexibility? I'm writing them down now.
After flexibility, you have nerve, like the ability to
run a
overcome
mile.
fear.
Gymnastics
1
would be
mile.
one.
Durability.
Gymnastics.
Oh, gymnastics. Yes, that's number 1.
Gymnastics is number 8.
Okay.
What's number 1? By the way,
Gymnastics.
running's harder than all
Oh,
of these.
could swimming? Could swimming be in there? You got power.
If running is not, swimming's not. I'll tell you that.
Swimming requires power.
Running's harder than every single one of these.
Say again.
No,
What's
swimming-
what's after
swimming's a different
flexibility?
animal.
What's after flexibility? Nerve. Okay.
Durability,
Yep.
hand-eye coordination,
Okay.
and analytical aptitude. So like a basketball point guard in a fast break, Joe Montana reading a defense, that sort of thing.
Okay.
There's no way it could be swimming.
What are some
No,
what are
it's
some
not
other
running, it's not
sports?
swimming.
What are some other sports? There's swimming. There's running.
I'll give you one that's on
Water
here
polo?
that's not up there. Archery. Archery is number 55.
archery.
What about water polo?
Endurance, durability.
I forgot about water.
Power.
Power,
Agility.
strength, agility,
Hand-eye.
hand-eye.
What are we at right now? What are we missing?
We're missing 1, 5, and 6. I mean, we're missing 1. Is there any like crazy?
I'm thinking water polo's got to be up there.
Could skiing or something like that?
What about a question? What's the golf?
No, let's go water polo. Water polo.
Water polo is at 11, so I'm going to give you a mulligan on that.
Oh,
I'm going to give you a mulligan. That's
Swimming is not on there.
What about equestrian? Like horse
The
riding?
horse doesn't
No.
work.
No.
I don't know if they count that as like
No. There's no way that's on there.
no.
Oh, cornhole.
equestrian is just above fishing at 59.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be some Summer Olympic thing that we're forgetting here.
You guys are going to feel really silly.
Is it like luge?
No.
Like skeleton?
No.
I mean,
What is-
skeleton would be pretty.
What are some other big time sports that we're forgetting here?
Volleyball.
Some of these are sports that you guys have watched before,
Volleyball.
like big time.
Volleyball's hard.
Table tennis?
Ping pong. It's
No.
big time. Wait, he says big time. Football, basketball.
NASCAR's not on there, right? They're not
you're-
talking like NASCAR
No,
as a
you're driving-
sport.
you're driving
No,
a
these
car.
are. I believe these are all sports that have been Olympic at some point.
Okay.
It's swimming. I think swimming is in there.
Look, I'm good with swimming.
If that's in there
Swimming
and running
is.
not, that's
Are we
ridiculous.
guessing
No,
swimming?
no.
But actually, no, we
it
can't
be
guess.
in there.
We said water polo. Water polo is definitely more
Yeah,
than swimming.
Yeah, you're right. It can't.
Distance running's harder than swimming.
This is good reasoning. I'm impressed by your guys' reasoning.
Yeah. Skating maybe or skiing, one of those.
Like figure skating.
Not one. I think skiing could actually be in there.
Skiing.
Skiing's hard.
I'm trying to think of some other big time like
I mean, skiing could be one, like
Ziggy,
skiing down a mountain.
Can we? Do you think this is sort of cheating? But should we ask like is there some form of running, or can we just eliminate all running?
There is no endurance sports left.
Okay. So power.
We're like sprinting.
It's like arm wrestling, one of them.
No.
Track and field.
All right, for the sake of this episode not going on forever, let's try and think of one
Shot
right
put?
here.
Javelin?
Track and field.
I think
In general.
we go with skiing.
Skiing. All right, skiing.
All right, I mean,
Skiing is also at number 11.
what the all right, what's like give us let's the Family Feud this 651. What's 6?
6, martial arts.
Oh.
That's
All
bullshit.
right, like
Bullshit.
wait.
And
Oh, no, I got this. Boxing.
Oh, boxing.
Boxing is number 1.
Okay.
Okay.
So boxing is one. Martial arts, is it you talking like UFC?
Yeah.
Probably like mixed martial arts.
Like I can't. Dude, you're a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't put that as
Yeah,
like.
it's not hard. Going out and running
Power.
20 miles is harder than going hiya.
Dude,
Well,
I
look, I'm gonna.
don't know.
How about you get in the ring? How about you get in the
I
octagon,
don't
John
wanna get in
Jones?
there.
Then we'll see
I
what
did
you
karate.
think.
I don't want to get in with those
I was
guys.
a blue belt in a month.
All right, what's 5?
5 is wrestling.
Oh, so it's all.
wrestling. Yeah, it was all like.
You were missing combat sports.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Damn
You
it.
would get so fucked up in wrestling, it wouldn't be funny.
Jack is stunned.
That's just stunning.
What running?
As somebody who
You understand that like 8 minutes ago you were
you
saying
know-
baseball is the hardest thing in the world, and you expect like running?
I think baseball's 1, distance running's 2.
Distance running is 2.
Yeah, but you're
You know
basing it off of like single.
He said hard. You know how hard it is to go out and run distances?
Yeah, but you're basing it
Nobody
on
can do it.
People run the marathon. Everyone runs marathons.
Do you know how
these
hard
days.
it is to be a competitive
And you gotta
boxer?
train for years to run a marathon. You know how hard it is?
How hard it is to wrestle and
Most
box
pro
and-
boxers can
Oh,
run a
you lie on the
marathon.
ground and freaking girl Tyson and come
my
on.
God.
And you get karate martial arts go, hey, yeah.
Here, Jack.
I mean, this
Most pro boxers
Zach's
could run
a
a
black belt. How
marathon.
hard can
Most
it be?
marathon runners
master,
could not
man.
step into a boxing ring.
no,
Yeah, I don't think you understand the skill that it takes.
obviously, to succeed at any level in these, like the highest level in these sports, is
Also,
super, super hard.
Baseball at 9 is insane. To go bat and hit a pitch, that's the hardest thing to do in the world.
Yeah, but there's other things besides just batting.
That's the hardest thing to do in the world. Is baseball's batting. That's baseball.
Yeah, but there's also
Everybody on the
fielding,
roster-
there's catching.
I think baseball's really hard.
Everyone on the roster is batting
Yeah, but
4 times a game.
but this is
Yeah, think about
but you're
boxing.
basing it on one skill.
Baseball's
This is
harder than
multiple
boxing.
skills.
I don't know, man. Boxing,
Boxing,
you're
you're
knocked out.
Boxing, you're throwing punches. Baseball,
It's. I mean, it might be. It might
Yeah, but
be
you gotta
less,
land those punches.
Yeah, it might be like harder to learn baseball for the average person than go and throw a punch. But like, I mean, when you're boxing,
any
you're-
moron can go to the ring and throw punches.
Yeah, but
nobody
not-
can hit a baseball.
but people get knocked out. I mean, it's like it's hard to be a great
I
boxer.
mean, yeah. Like you get,
Boxing tests a lot of skills.
It's hand-eye. It's can you take a
but
punch?
any dude can go in and go throw a punch.
Yeah, and anybody could go play baseball and strike out.
All right, well, we're
Yeah,
never-
anyone can
you
go play
strike
t-ball.
out.
We will
Yeah,
never.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're still
you
playing baseball.
Strike out.
We will never be able to flip either side of this argument. But
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Boxing, hockey, football, basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis, gymnastics, baseball, soccer.
And if any of the fans have their own hardest sport, feel free to throw it
My
in.
hardest sport's 52.
Ziggy, what was the rest of like 11 through 15 there? You said water
So
polo.
we had tied for 11 was alpine skiing and water polo, rugby 13, lacrosse 14,
Oh, screw that.
rodeo
stupid
15.
pansy sport lacrosse. 14.
rodeo. You mean rodeo?
I mean rodeo.
What's
That's how
rodeo?
it's pronounced.
Rode-
As somebody who comes from the town of Livermore with its famous rodeo, I come from a long line of successful rodeoers. It's pronounced rodeo.
What?
You don't say
Wait,
rodeo drive.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You say
Wait,
rodeo
wait,
drive.
I'm sorry. Before we sign off here, and we'll try and keep this like a minute. What do you mean you come from a successful line of rodeoers?
What time is it?
10,
It's
10.
10.
Wait, what do you mean you come from a successful line of rodeoers?
Look, in Livermore, rodeo's the thing. It's in the soil. It's in the family blood.
I'm sorry. Is anyone in your family doing rodeo?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No one in my
that
family is
has a
doing
lasso going like this in a
rodeo.
circle?
Wait, we're talking
No,
about
it's when you ride a bull.
you have bull riding family members.
Yes.
That's probably number. I bet you bull riding is number 2.
It's a
That's
big
hard.
thing in Livermore, man. I don't
Oh,
know what
no,
to
no,
tell
no.
you.
He just said it's
I'm-
14.
That's my number 2.
That would be really hard. Wow, I'm Ziggy. We gotta get you on a mechanical bull if it runs in the blood.
Look, it's every like mid-June, the Livermore Rodeo. They just did the 104th this year.
Dude, you learn something new.
What's
about Ziggy every
16?
day.
What's 16?
What's 16? All right, I'll give you 16, then we're calling it. 16 is pole vault.
That crossed my mind, but not for
Get the hell out of here with that stupid nonsense pole vault.
All right, we'll
At
wrap
6
it up. We'll be back on
can't.
Thursday with the last of these division previews. Oh, so sad to be coming to an end of our division
Yeah, it
previews
is
with the
sad.
AFC West. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russ, Jimmy Garoppolo. We got an exciting conclusion to the division previews. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. If it's good, bad, whatever you think, we appreciate you spending some time with us, and we'll see you on Thursday.